Hey everyone, Mr. Devil here, Kenny Danico, 3-time Stanley Cup champion of the New Jersey Devils, and you're listening to the Uncle Puckers New Jersey Devils podcast. Let's go Devils!
Oh, it's here. Look at that. It's like
popped them in.
No
right when we were
preamble,
about to hit the intro.
no bullshit, no like
Tim's here.
What's all going on?
Sly Stone's gone. Tim's here. You guys heard about that, right? Sly Stone passed away tonight.
Well, how's his family? That's really what I know.
Yeah.
How's the family Stone doing?
Great songs though, man. You know, a lot of great tunes.
There was.
82 years old.
82, huh?
82, yeah. Do
Wow.
you want to live to Chris? What do you think is nobody wants to die obviously right now, but like when is too old? When is it like
Sure.
you know?
I don't know. Doesn't sound like the worst thing in the world.
I would
These
think
days it might be a way out.
for most people, I mean, I would think that like I see my dad, right? He's going to be 80 next month or in September. And you know, my mother died. Like all of his friends now are gone. He's very lonely and hey, Steven, what's happening? And I kind of feel like he would be okay now. Like, I think there comes a point in your life where you've seen your friends kind of go, and maybe your spouse goes, your kids are older, they have lives, and then maybe it's a little bit easier, but I don't know. I don't ever want to think about it. I'm so scared shitless of death. I don't like it.
Yeah,
Well, it depends on how generally capable I am of things. You know, like my dad was kind of the last couple months, like he couldn't even really use his legs. Like his brain was all there and he was mentally sharp. And I could see it was just eating him alive, that he couldn't.
That's got to be extremely frustrating.
He couldn't do anything, you know, like if my brain's gone, fuck it, I'll live until 120. That'd be awesome. Just being a goldfish and just not giving a shit about anything and not knowing about anything, taking your pants off at steakhouses. That sounds like it's the best.
Yeah.
But
I mean, once there's no quality of life, I just want to go.
yeah, exactly.
All right,
82 is probably good. You know,
what's that?
82 is probably good. You're probably not totally suffering. You know, Sly Stone, I'm sure he partied it up, had a great life. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
You know, some stories to tell.
Well, let's. There's something I want to ask you guys about.
So good to see you guys. Hi. How's everybody?
Hi. This is
Happiness.
Right away, Tony's got to bring it around to death.
Yeah, I'm just barreling towards a totalitarian monarchy right now, and good times.
I have a question, non-hockey, non-sport related.
Okay.
Do any of you guys believe in any supernatural or like cryptids, aliens, Bigfoot? And if you don't believe in any of that, well, first off, if you do believe in any of that and you have any actual personal experiences, I want to hear them. And if you don't believe in that, like just think it's all bullshit, which one of those things would you want to have be real? Like to me, like it's like Bigfoot would be so freaking awesome if Bigfoot was real. But like, okay, so I'm just curious. Tony, we'll start with you. Do you believe in any of that?
Thank God you take this one, Tony.
Before anybody judges me here, I want to say.
No, this is a safe space, Tom. This is a safe space.
No, you know, I mean, I don't believe too much because being into like the music I'm into when I was younger and stuff and everything, I'll admit, like now, you know, I look at everything different in life. But back then I was like reading satanic Bibles, or I would read like the Necronomicon or these books to write lyrics for these songs, you know, when you're in high school and stuff. I did the whole Ouija board thing and nothing ever happened to me, man. So I hear these tales all the time, and I would like that to be, it would be cool to think it's a whole death episode, but and like there's something else afterwards, but I just don't believe any of that stuff, man. You know, I just can't do it.
Do you believe in aliens?
No.
Like you don't believe that anywhere else in the universe there are other civilizations, other.
I want to believe it. You know, I just don't. I know, like it's like God. When people are like, you believe in God, I'm like, no, I could lie, but I just don't. You know, I would like to. Hey, I wish there was all these great things that, you know, and I just don't believe it, unfortunately.
Okay, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are or have been alien civilizations. Like, I think, the universe is so big. Like, I don't see how we could be just this crazy statistical anomaly. But what I think people have a hard time kind of figuring out or understanding is time. And, like, we can look back, via telescope because of like the speed of light and how long it takes to actually get to places, and how far away places actually are, like other planets, like the amount of time. Like, I don't fear like an alien civilization coming and finding us. Wow, you're in for a fucking weird conversation, man.
Wait, no, this is the shit I like to talk about. Are we live?
But
Yeah,
like,
we're live.
do you know what I
Man.
mean? It's like I feel like people kind of, it's like it's not like Independence Day where like this alien civilization is that when they leave their planet, they saw our planet and there are dinosaurs on it. When they get here, it's going to be like the guy from The Walking Dead is going to be like the last guy standing.
Well, there's like that's the thing. When I absolutely believe in aliens, like there is, and I would even bet life on 90% of the shit that's floating around. I'm not saying intelligent life. I'm saying just life forms, whether it be single cell life forms, whether it be anything up to complex life. I believe it's everywhere. I believe that if we, when we go to Mars, we're going to find it. When we go to any of these, mostly moons and stuff. So outside of the universe or outside of our solar system, I think it's teeming with life. But Tim's right. The only thing that moves faster than the speed of light is space itself. So the universe is constantly expanding. So even if you have a spaceship and you wanted to take that spaceship from point A to point B and you're going the speed of light, you're like a runner, never, with the finish line taped 20 feet in front of you and you never catch it because you're in the space and those planets, they're moving further away from each other than you could ever move. So like wormholes and that whole kind of physics would be the way to do that, which is beyond me. But I absolutely believe in aliens. Now, I don't necessarily think that they're here because I don't for any shape or form would understand why would it. The only reason aliens would ever come here would just be to take our planet and kill us all. There's no other reason to ever be here. So
I picked the wrong episode to get high before.
this is the right episode to get high on. Bob, where are you?
Where am I on
Aliens?
aliens?
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll start with
it's-
that.
Wait,
It's
start from the beginning. Start from the beginning. Is 82 too old or too young to die?
Talk about
yeah,
Sly
it's 80.
Stone passing away. That's how the show started.
Who passed away?
Sly from Sly and the Family Stone.
Oh,
Dance to the music.
nowadays I would say it's too young. I think that the life expectancy has increased. I look at, habits of the generation before us and what level they've gotten to. And it's, it's pretty amazing what you can do if you actually take care of yourself your entire life. So yeah, I would say it's a little bit young. Not a ton, just a tad.
All right, so aliens.
Yeah. 100% mathematical certainty that at some point there is life out there. It's just, there's no other way to put it. I mean,
Oh, he's right about
billions
that.
and billions and trillions of stars and galaxies. I mean, we can't be that much of a lucky lottery. Definitely agree with Chris. Even at the micro level, for sure. Simple cell life. We got 4 of them right here, so it's proof that anything can happen. But even beyond that, yeah, I think intelligent life for sure. It's just you can't deal with that kind of math and not have it appear again. And we even know what has to happen in general. We know about the inhabitable zone upon certain stars where most of the things are likely to Jesus Christ, just came off of work. Be good.
Right.
and then then even from there, you can extrapolate how many times that happens. And there's got to be something. So
How about
yeah,
ghosts,
let's
Bob?
go. Ghosts, I'm a little tougher on ghosts. I don't know, man. Like I always believe that there's a soul. And I was brought up religious, but I tend to believe in the science way more than the religious aspect of life. Therefore, there's not much out there that would prove anything past lights out. So I'm not 100% sure, but I would say there's a little piece of me that does believe that there's ghosts. And I do believe in the soul in some form, at least the energy.
Well, that's what I was like. I'm an atheist, right? I mean, you guys all know that. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in all that bullshit. But we do know that us as, meat bags are filled with energy. Energy cannot be destroyed. Is it conscious when you die? Can you control it? Can you then do, who the hell knows? But I think that there's definitely something else with your energy, whether it's conscious, whether you're part of something bigger, I don't know. But personally, I've never had any ghost stories. My wife has told me some shit that she's experienced that is like mind-blowing shit. And I believe her 100% because she's my wife and she's not going to fucking lie to me. But personally, I've never had any experience. So it's hard for me to attach myself to something unless I've had a personal experience.
It's really easy to fall into like what I just said, where you look at things intelligently, scientifically, what makes more sense. You can question all the things in the Bible. And okay, if you die and it's eternal happiness, what if you had 2 wives? Like, is it which one you liked better? Like, what's the reality of that situation? But when you look at the science of it and they kind of show that there's really no proof of any afterlife, then all you got to really do is question. The smartest among us ever is still only like the smallest fraction really smarter than us. And there's so much of our own brain we don't even use, so much of the universe we don't even understand. Who's to say we don't just become ghosts and float in the clouds? We really don't know. Really don't know. But
Eric
it doesn't seem that
fly
way.
above the clouds question that.
I do believe is, and I believe this 100%, and I don't have any proof, and it's not a very popular mainstream belief, but I honestly believe that there have been ancient civilizations that have have had technology and things like that billions of years on this planet. Like, I believe that there is so many lost civilizations that we know nothing about. Like, I don't believe that the Egyptians built the pyramids. I believe the Egyptians found the pyramids and somebody else built them for a reason, most likely some kind of power plant or something of that nature. So I think like archaeology and like mainstream shit, I don't think they know a fucking thing. And I think they're just guessing. And, the thing that gets me is every time they find a civilization that's older than the one before, they're like, well, this has got to be the first ever civilization until next year when you find something older. Like, if you keep doing that, like if we have a massive destruction on this planet, the poles shift or a fucking asteroid the size of Texas hits the planet or whatever, in 50 years, you'll have no signs or of human civilization, So you're saying 10 billion years ago? I mean, maybe not that long, but you know what I'm saying. That's just me.
Sorry, I was reading Steven's
I was
comment.
reading Steven's comments.
Stephen Engel writes, women make great archaeologists because they just love digging up stuff from the past. All right. Before we get into hockey, does anybody believe in Bigfoot?
No.
What are you okay? Like, what happened? Like, what happened to you since the last time we recorded?
When
like,
I'm not
talking
watching
about ghosts
hockey,
and
I'm
death
watching
and
shit about
Bigfoot
that.
and
I didn't start the
fucking
death
real
shit. That was
existential
Tony.
shit, man. Like,
That's me,
how are you?
I admit.
Just
I am the Reaper.
Just does
Shit
anyone
like that would have just been found by now. I don't believe there's just one random thing. How was it born? There's no second one. I don't buy into any of that. There's no Loch Ness monster. I really need a 5-minute break between work and podcast next time. I can't speak at all.
I mean, there is probably the funny thing is, have you ever seen a map of Bigfoot sightings?
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's all over the fucking country.
All over.
Yeah, it's like everywhere, and there is probably not some sort of animal out there that is up on 2 feet just living out in the fucking woods.
Yeah.
It's probably like a bear. There's never been any, everything's like some sort of grainy Zapruder film.
Right.
It's not. No, I do not think there is a Bigfoot. I do
There's
not
only
think
one
there's some
photo of this
mystery animal.
motherfucker.
I think it's
Right.
funny. I think it's funny to think about, but I do not think there's some mystery animal that lives out in the woods. And maybe it's in Wyoming, maybe it's in Yellowstone, maybe it's in West Virginia,
Well-
maybe it's in the Appalachian Trail, maybe it's not, maybe it's in the Rockies, maybe it's not, maybe it's in Texas. I do not think there is that.
Everybody
love
has
watching-
phones now. They would get it. There's no way a Bigfoot can
Right.
stroll around anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's impossible to do anything now.
I love Bigfoot stories. I don't believe he's real. I don't believe there is a species of gigantic primates that live in the woods like Tim was just saying, but I love these fucking morons that go out in the woods to find them. And they actually, like, if this thing was real, it's done. It's the greatest hide and seek player in the fucking world,
Yeah.
right? You cannot find this thing. Like, there's no bodies, there's no shit, there's no fur, there's no physical evidence of any kind.
Have you ever seen a overlapping map of the missing people in the U.S. and the U.S. cave system?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like an overlap of the two.
And
So maybe
in
Bigfoot
Yeah,
runs the cave system in conjunction with the National Parks Association and park rangers, and those guys are the real deep state, and they're hiding Bigfoot and all the dead bodies in the
Now
cave.
that I
Bobby,
can
we don't
get
know shit
behind.
about this because we had the same haircut in the '80s, me and you. We don't know
That's
anything
right.
about
I
the.
wouldn't be
I don't.
mistaken.
I haven't seen the maps. I've seen some stuff with Bigfoot, but isn't there only like one picture of him?
Well, I mean, there's
Of
not
it,
any
or-
decent.
But you know, the
pictures
one
of
they
him.
say is like, or maybe it's the Loch Ness I'm thinking of. I know there's one
And
picture.
you're
Of him.
Yeah.
making an assumption that Bigfoot's a him too.
That's
See,
true. Well,
The thing is, we've done a really good job, and by we I mean like scientists and stuff, really knowing what's on the surface of the Earth. They've got 100,000 different species of bugs. Like, they've pretty much figured that out. Now, the depths of the ocean that we can't really penetrate to, I'm sure there's some shit down there we've never seen. But even
And
that ain't
underground.
old Nessie. You know what I mean? Nessie just always likes to come up in this one lake, just all by itself. Same
Right.
picture. Yeah,
It's
not
fucking
happening.
what the hell do they think? I forget the kind of dinosaur that they said that it is. The
Here,
birds
Tony.
aren't real thing. Husky Unchained. I'm not even going to.
Birds
I'm
aren't
not
real.
even. Not even going
Hang
to
on.
comment on that.
Here, Tony,
And-
look at this. Hang on.
What are you gonna show over
You
here? I'm
have the
afraid.
death overlay map coming up?
No, this is
Oh.
the
Actually sounded
what I
fun.
was just talking about. So this is the U.S. cave system
And then the missing
Yeah.
persons.
and missing persons.
I
So you
said
see like, all these missing people, like cave systems, all the missing
Mhm.
people, they're all. So
All
every
missing
missing person is basically in caves.
Yeah, taken by Bigfoot, and then
People
they are
taken by
forced to work for the Parks Association.
Yes.
This is why I
Um,
don't go hiking. People like, want to go for a hike? No, I don't want to go for a hike. Apparently,
No.
I'm going to find a cave. I'm going to get lost forever.
Well, Husky just said, "Ever see a baby pigeon?" To
I
his
have not
birds
seen a
aren't real.
baby
Have you ever
pigeon.
seen a
No,
baby
that's
squirrel?
actually a great
I
great
have-
Have you ever seen a
We
baby
talked about
squirrel?
that with baby squirrels, right? There you
Right,
go.
baby squirrels, and so squirrels aren't real. Come on now, man.
But,
I saw the
speaking
devils
of-
a couple of
I have a
times.
video. I wanted to show the video. My dog killed a groundhog the other day, and I have a video of it
Your dog.
of him grabbing him by the neck, throwing him in the air, and snapping his neck.
PETA may come after us for that.
Wow.
Yeah,
My son
I
just
didn't
got his
train him to
license.
do
yeah.
that.
PETA's what we should be worried about now, not the Parks Department.
What'd you say?
Yeah, we should be worried about the Parks Department coming after us right now, since we're onto them. We're onto
Since
you.
we just unveiled their giant Bigfoot missing
exactly.
people cover up.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I don't know. This stuff fascinates me. I love talking about it, and my wife looks at me like I'm fucking balancing a Buick on my dick when I bring it up. So I like to talk to you guys about it. She has like zero interest in this shit. She's like, and she just looks like, well, you watch the dumbest shit all the time.
I watch
I'm
it
like,
all
Like,
the time,
yeah,
dude.
well-
when nothing's on, I go trying to find shit about the universe, and I just sit
Yeah.
there and just zone. And I don't get high, so that's really cool. I just kind of
you should because it makes it
Just
better.
fucking
Probably
Bobby's
should.
just raw dogging conspiracy videos.
raw dog the
Raw
universe.
dogging.
I mean, I guess it's kind of conspiracy type stuff. Like I don't like
No,
conspiracy
it's not. I mean,
theories.
Bigfoot's
Like,
conspiratorial, but
yeah, but
like the
like-
universe and questioning reality and energy and souls and what happens to us when we die, that type of shit.
do people like Husky? I have to ask: do you believe all birds are government drones, or just one? Because birds have been around kind of way before the government and all. So I'm guessing it's not.
That's what you
every
think.
bird.
That's what you think, Chris.
Yes. So yeah, I'm
That's what they
just
planted
that
in
one.
your head.
That's just something that the Parks Department would tell you.
It's all birds. Okay, it's every bird every time. This is all from the fucking Parks
It is.
Department.
I had an owl outside the other day that was communicating with another
Who?
bird about my illegal operation.
You know, we don't need birds in Jersey to be drones. We actually have government
have
drones
drones,
flying all
yeah.
over the fucking
Nobody
state,
talks
so-
about it anymore, though. Like it was like I never hear about it. Like that was the big thing, and now I never hear it.
Oh, they're still there too. You know, they are still there. So,
Yeah.
do you guys?
You know, you get desensitized to stuff, right, Tony?
Yeah.
You see enough things, you're like, fuck it. They're watching me all the time.
We were talking about that actually on Rogan's show, and they were saying how like the one guy was talking about the drones, and he actually does believe it was a small like government psyop to see how people would
react to drones?
react to seeing them all the time. And at what point do they just become, like you said, Bob, desensitized to it and not give a shit? That went the opposite because people in New Jersey got really scared and pissed off, and they were fucking angry about it.
Of all the states to pick, they picked New Jersey.
Right.
Yeah,
Pick the one with the biggest attitude.
But I mean, go anywhere and look up and watch how much your steps are being. Go to a hotel, you're on 15 different cameras, and when you're in the lobby, when you're getting your Uber, like everything, dude. Like, it's just I give up on that. I remember like when Easy Pass came out.
Tim's bathroom, cameras everywhere.
One box to the other. I'm like, I really don't.
Tony, I let you visit one time. And you said like that.
All right.
No, but you're right. Like, that's also to the bird thing. Like, do you really have to have birds that are drones? Like, there are cameras everywhere. You can't do anything without
every neighbor's got a
The
ring.
Will Smith movie. It's like almost 25 years old. Enemy of the State.
Yes. That was a good movie.
Great movie. Love that movie. Gene
Bet the
Hackman.
technology is a little better now, eh, Tim?
Yeah, probably a little bit.
We should talk a little
Bob, I'm
hockey.
watching you right now.
Hockey, yeah.
Hockey. Speaking of surveillance,
So, like I said to you guys, I know there's a game tonight, game 3 of the final, and I said to you guys, like, last year's final was so freaking good, right? Florida's up 3-0. Everybody thought this thing was going to be over in 4 or 5, and Edmonton fights back, forces a game 7, makes it a great final. Like, the only way you're going to top that is like have 7 overtime games. We are actually on track for that right now, which is just awesome.
Yeah.
This final has been so much fun to watch. And if you are not a hockey fan and watching this, I don't know anybody that walks away going, hockey's not the greatest sport in the world watching this series.
For sure. Yeah, this is the type of series where if you're a casual fan, like you get locked into hockey. We grew up in an age where maybe we understand defense and 1-0 games, 2-0 games weren't boring to us. But today's world, like they do want to see this kind of back and forth action and these goals and overtimes. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't get hooked if you started watching today.
yeah, I think the league really kind of dropped the ball with not arranging at least one game this past Saturday night. I don't know how this past Saturday night there wasn't a game, an NBA final game or an NHL final game. Like,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, it seems like a real missed opportunity by both leagues. These games have been incredible. Like, just so much fun. Like, back and forth. They're physical. They're fast. Like, just so much skill. Like, McDavid's on a whole nother level. Great goaltending. Like, just like incredible defensive play. Like, Forsling made this unbelievable play. Like, diving across on Kane, and then he made another great stick play on Draisaitl. Marchand scoring an overtime goal. Like, what a trade deadline pickup that's been. Probably, that's the kind of trade deadline that wins you things. That guy, he's a big name, but he's not quite the player that he was. But I plugged him in on that third line, and suddenly they just have so much depth, and everybody's a good player in this series. It's so much fun.
I agree.
Yeah, it's going to go 7 games, I think, definitely. Florida's just you envy as a hockey fan. This is like you envy this team in a way, the way they're built. I think it's just there's so much aspects to it, so much attitude, and just it's gonna be a great series, man. Like I think I was telling you guys, I kind of wanted Edmonton just because of I like Henrique and stuff. I like to see him get a cup, but Florida's just damn tough. And I think we were talking about the other day, do they have to win 2 to be known as this? Out of the 3, and I just think they're gonna do it, man. I can't picture them going out for some reason. I don't know.
I know, and I give Edmonton a little bit of credit because I think the prevailing narrative on them was that they were more of like a speed skill type of team, and they are obviously with McDavid, but they have a little bit of nastiness in their and attitude in their game too. Like after Nosek flipped that puck over the boards, I think it was in game 1, and Jake Wallman was just in his face laughing at him. That was fucking hysterical.
It was.
Evander Kane is just not letting Matty Tkachuk get away with any fucking bullshit on the ice. I love it. I'd love that. We definitely need that kind of edge and that attitude on the double.
Yeah, I think in game 2 more so too. Like Edmonton was the one I think bringing the physicality a lot more than Florida, and I think they kind of they took it a little bit, and they were kind of hoping that maybe Edmonton will get themselves maybe into a little bit of trouble or whatever, and they kind of did. I mean, the penalties were crazy in that first period. Few of them were bullshit. Like when Edmonton scored the goal, when they called for Bennett for a goaltender interference when he was fucking pushed into Skinner like that, like you didn't call anything right off the bat, and then you guys all get together and the fucking fans are freaking out and you change it to a goaltender interference. That bothered me. I didn't like that call at all. But I think that
It's Sam Bennett. I mean, that's the third or fourth time he's kind of run into the goalie. So I think that's more about he's not getting the benefit of the doubt on that type of call, and they're eventually going to call it. But he is an artist when it comes to oopsies. I fell on the goalie.
sure.
He knows how to make his body look like he did fall. Like he could probably have controlled his body a little bit, but he'll give a little extra shot to the goalie. He'll get in the mixer. Like I think he's gonna get so much fucking money this offseason unless he stays in Florida.
So who wins tonight, Tone? First game in Florida.
I'm gonna say Florida.
You think Florida takes it tonight?
I'm gonna go Florida.
Tim?
I think Edmonton takes it. I think they go back and forth until 7.
Bob?
100%. Edmonton takes it too. I think it's just going to be flip-flop. Like, there's just no telling. I mean, I'm watching what McDavid's doing, and I want to make claims like he's got that look like he's going to will it to happen, right? And he's pulling out some shit. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, but Florida has something to say about that. And they just tied it up 1-1. And I just feel like probably for both of these teams, but more so for Edmonton, like if they're playing any other team in the West or from the East, I think it's a walk in the park. I think Florida's like that one team that can actually still win this thing. I still picked Edmonton. I think Tim picked them in 7, so I picked them in 6 just to be different, right? But it certainly looks like it's got all the makings of 7 for sure. It's just back and forth.
Sake.
I don't know who wins tonight, but I definitely want it to go into overtime again. And
Oh, cool. We got rid of them.
Yeah, good. It's about time.
Shut
Hey,
up.
Tony
Dude.
put his glasses on. Is there any
So
devil
I'm preparing
preparing
for the devil you know when I have to
Okay.
read. I
got you. Now, all right. So since we, been going a half
I have
hour
something,
here.
Chris, I want to mention. Pete
Oh, yeah,
DeBoer.
please.
Did
Pete
you guys
DeBoer.
talk about DeBoer?
No.
Getting canned?
No, we haven't yet.
I mean, I don't know what you had.
man.
I think Bobby made a comment in our little group chat that made a lot of sense. If it was Bobby, it said, what do you have to do to keep it? Because I like DeBoer, man, and it's
Well,
what do
apparently
you
in
have to do to
DeBoer's
keep the
case,
job?
it's win the West. That was it. I mean, it's
I mean, it's still it's success though, right? Like I get it, you didn't win the big one, right? But you're down to the final 4 each time, and that's some pretty elite talent. When you get to that level, it's still really impressive what he's able to do. He doesn't have any, right? That started with us, kind of got to the dance and can't finish it. But still, I just think like that kind of success. I think it's more about the goalie move. I think it was.
But how
more
many
like,
times have
get
we-
rid of this guy.
But how many times have we seen this in sport, not just hockey, where a really good team cannot get over that hump and they'll make that change at, hey, the fucking, Tampa Bay, right? The Tampa Bay not Lightning, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? They got so far, or was that Tony Dungy's team, right? And they couldn't get over the hump. And everybody's like, why the hell are they getting rid of Dungy? And they bring Gruden in, and Gruden was the voice they needed to do that to win the Super Bowl. Sorry, Tone.
Well, Gruden also that's some bullshit. I know what you're saying, but Gruden also knew the Raiders playbook.
Yes,
and they
I know.
didn't change
I'm
any
just
of their
using him
plays.
as an example, though.
I know.
It's happened before. I mean, hell, even the Devils in 2000, right? Like firing Robbie Fatorak with 8 games left and bringing, Larry Robinson in. I don't think they win the Stanley Cup if Fatorak stays as a head coach. So maybe the right guy. I heard Nazardine is a guy that they're really looking into hiring.
They hired. I thought they hired their AHL coach.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, Graham something. I think that was his name. I forget what it was, but yeah, that I guess is a guy that's had a lot of success with the Texas Stars. So they're bringing him in. He knows the organization, the systems. Yeah, I mean, I think he. To Bobby's point, I think teams are getting very quick on the trigger. I heard today that the average tenure for a coach is 2.3 years, which just is no time at all. And then if you think about a GM, the kind of rule of thumb is that a GM gets 3 coaches, unless you're Chris Drury, of course. It's just, I don't think teams and players are getting enough rope. And a lot of it has been kind of recent history, because I really think the flat salary cap over a couple of years really kind of set some teams that were on a good trajectory, have to sell off some pieces, and really kind of affected what they were able to do, like Toronto having to give up Nazem Kadri. Maybe they're bad decisions that they made, keeping one guy over another. But it's not a good viable career choice these days.
Well, I think if you look here, right? So the longest tenured head coach right now is John Cooper,
Yep.
who has been with the Lightning since March 25th, 2013. So that's
It's a run.
serious run, right?
It's a great.
And then you
coach,
got
yeah.
Jared Bednar from Colorado, who's been with them since 2016.
That's surprising.
Rod Brindamore, 2018. So those three are those guys are just locked in. They're not going anywhere. I can see them coaching those teams for as long as they want to coach those teams. Who do you think number 4 is?
Sheldon
Just
Keefe.
off the top of your head.
God damn, it's a tough market.
It's close. Put it that way, Bobby. It's
okay.
actually close.
Let's see.
Was it DeBoer?
I was going to say that's a good.
Well, he was crossed out of this list because he's gone. He was 6th.
Is it Maurice?
It is not. The next is Martin St. Louis
Holy
with Montreal.
Wow.
February 9th,
Yeah.
2022. And then Bruce Cassidy, June 14th, 2022. And then Paul Maurice, Spencer Carberry. Spencer Carberry is in this list. Like,
That's
he
crazy.
just started last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, him and
like,
Keefe have the same tenure.
Andrew Burnett.
Nine new coaches this summer, or 9 vacancies that needed to be filled.
When Spencer Carberry is in the top 8 or 9 of longest tenured coaches, and he's only been coaching now for 2 years on June 20th or on May 30th, it was 2 years. Like, dude, does
that make the recycled tech thing even like more insane or less? The fact they keep recycling the same kind of people.
Well,
You look at it, on average, it's 2 years.
I think it's how many times you get recycled. Like if you're on your second job, I think you can say like, all right, maybe you learn from your mistakes the first time. If you're on your like 4th or 5th, that's just like a lazy pick.
Well, like,
in my
so
opinion.
where does that put like a guy like Peter Laviolette, right? Like Peter Laviolette, who's coached, I think, 35 teams already in the league. And he was coaching the Golden Seals and the Cleveland Barons at one point. Like, I'm just curious, like,
When he had
what
Chico
does it say
Risch
about
involved.
him? Is he a great coach, or is he I don't know.
Journeyman.
Like, a journeyman head. Is he the same as some slappy that's been on 9 different teams over 15 years in his NHL career? Is it the same fucking thing?
That's going to be the thing for some team looking for a coach. Like, oh, can we get the experienced guy like that? They let him go. We can grab him. And you got to sit back and be like, well, do you want that? Like, what's he really going to give you? Why don't go with a new guy, a new face, a new idea?
Why I
Yeah,
thought
but it's
Toronto
also
was
where
smart.
the team is. Like you look at Warsawski in San Jose. Or he seems to be doing a really good job. Just coached the World Championship team this summer, and he seems like a guy they brought in, was young, good opportunity to kind of come up through that organization with the players that he has and with the team he has. But once you get to a certain point, it's an interesting perspective of like, what do we do? Like, you look at Dan Muse, who just got hired for the Pittsburgh job. Like, he was a New York assistant. Like, nobody even thought this guy was even in consideration. And now, but everyone is now scrambling to be like, who the fuck is this guy? But everything you hear about him and everything you read about him is like, he's one of these up and coming guys that is a very good kind of young coach. So it kind of, a lot of it depends on where you sit as a team. And it's almost like more veteran teams don't necessarily need a teaching coach. You need more of like a guy to put in systems and crack the whip, every now and then. Whereas younger teams need more of the tutelage and the mentorship and how to be a pro and that type of philosophy. So it really depends.
Fair enough. All right, let's do a little housekeeping, and then we're going to talk a little bit of Devils, and then we're going to play some games. We got a Devil and we have our snake draft of the week. But first, the fastest game on ice just hit another gear. Welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs, where legends are made and every shift can turn the tide. And now with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, you can take every slap shot, breakaway, and overtime thriller to the next level. Here's the kicker. New customers who bet $5 will score $300 in bonus bets if their wager hits. That's right. Turn $5 into a playoff payout. Just download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That's promo code THPN to unlock $300 in bonus bets when your $5 bet wins. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, visit dkng.co/audio. That's DraftKings Sportsbook with code THPN. The crown is yours. So what's the news on the Devils here, guys?
I don't know. There's not much going on. It seems like there's a lot of arguing about who we should go after, and a lot of articles speculating on guys. I think it's becoming a little bit clearer on sort of certain teams that are going to need to unload players or rework things. Colorado has entered the fold in that regard.
Charlie
They
Coyle.
just signed Brock Nelson.
Yeah.
Guy that's kind of interesting on Colorado is Ross Colton to me. Just listening to
From
Devils
Jersey.
Insiders from Jersey kid. So the Devils Insider this morning, they brought him up. Coyle would be interesting. Vegas might be making a run at Mitch Marner. So they would need to free up some money, which may make William Karlsson available, as well as
for them.
Dorofeyev. Weird. Vegas is going after the big shiny penny. So, there's a lot of that going on where things are starting to crystallize. It's June 9th, free agencies in 3 weeks. I don't know what's going to happen here. Like there's so much that needs to get done. I don't know. And I don't know if you guys know, and I don't think we need to be cap compliant. I think during the summer, I think we can be
got to
well
be
over the cap.
by like training camp.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought. I would absolutely, Fitz should absolutely go after Sam Bennett, but to a point, and I think that's a point I've been trying to make with people.
And
Like,
after
I love
he
the guy.
hoists the Conn Smythe Trophy, his $10 million might be even too cheap. I mean, Jesus Christ.
That's the thing. It's like I'd give Palat and Hall his money to Sam Bennett in a heartbeat.
Sure.
However, the big problem I see with that though is then that takes 2 NHL players off our roster, adds 1 onto it, and our problem was depth. So it's like, what do we do to address that? So you're gonna have to get
rid of Dougie
with depth as well. So then it's moving off of Dougie, and then are you moving off of Mercer? And suddenly we have 10 new guys, and it's a whole new fucking team that we have to figure out how to play together. So hopefully Fitz does a good fucking job this summer, man. Like I just don't think he will.
Well, this is it, right? And this is the crazy part. And we said it before. I don't think anybody has a clue what he's going to do this year. Like there are so many really good players, and every show we talk about a handful of them that we could see on this team. And so who's he really kind of narrowing in on? Who's he kind of pinpointing and saying, these are the 4, 5 guys that I'm going to go hard for. And, I need 2 to 3 of them. I'm going to go hard for 5 of them, and let's see who I get. No one knows, and that's the crazy part. And how, like, I don't think Bennett is even an option. I just can't see him.
No, I don't think he will.
I think he'll probably end up back in Florida. I think they're going to let Marchand walk, and they'll let a couple of their UFAs go. But I don't think that So wait, Husky Unchained wrote here. One of you mentioned Ryan McLeod in a recent pod, and I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Another guy, Ryan McLeod. I mean, I think Buffalo is, they're open for business. There's a lot of moves that you can make just with Buffalo alone.
Well, there's another team too that it's not like you're calling on them just to have them be your whipping boy and steal from them. They also have a little bit of a problem where that they're supposed to be, moving that arrow a little bit, and it's not really jumping the way it should. So they also need to be in the market for just kind of a change and something that really makes sense, player for player, maybe, asset for asset, that kind of thing, because they got a lot of desirable players there for sure, but it's not manifesting into like a good team.
Right.
Yeah. So. I wonder what the problem could be.
Yeah, I mean,
can't put my finger on it. I'm trying to look this way, but my wonky eye's looking that way.
See, I think it's more the GM there than it is Lindy.
I think so
because they've always had this problem since Ryan Miller's been there.
They just brought in Jarmo Kekalainen, right?
Yeah, they brought him in.
Columbus, and he actually, and now you look at Columbus and the trajectory on there and all the random ass Russians that they have that are suddenly fucking nasty. So it's really funny to see the kind of fruits of a GM's labor like develop and become what it was intended to be like years after they leave.
Right.
You know,
And
like
that's-
Shiro and, you know, Jack and Nico and Brad.
Like, yeah. If you could pick one player that, you know, we've talked about, just one to get, like, I don't even know who I would pick. Like, we've gone so many different directions talking about so many players. Like, I have no idea what Fitz is going to do. I mean, does he honestly
Because nothing
think,
is in a
okay,
bubble. That's why, dude. Nothing's
Right.
in a bubble. It's okay. If you got a guy like McLeod, you know, then you don't need to go get X. And it's more of like as things fall in place. So it's really hard. It's not like there's that one superstar where like, let's go get him. This is the answer. We don't have that in this team. We need
Right.
multiple pieces. So it's all going to depend on which piece comes in first. Then what do you have to get rid of to fit another
Exactly.
piece? Yep.
Yeah, it's like if we pull this lever, what does that do to this lever? And then if we
Right.
then pull that lever, what does that do to that lever? So I think 3C is probably our biggest need and our biggest issue. Top wing.
not according to James Nichols.
What is
It's
oh,
Dawson Mercer,
God.
man. That's our
Mercer.
3C.
No.
Like, that's
I
the
would
biggest
love-
fear. With
I
all
would
the
love-
guys
yeah.
that are available,
Yeah.
right, and all the changes that we know this team needs, that's going to be the worst thing if he just does nothing or just
No, we came in
tinkers around the
second.
edges.
I don't think we're going to do much. For some reason, I have this awful feeling that it's going to be minor stuff.
I
know.
disagree.
I
And I'll
hope I'm
tell you
wrong.
why
I hope I'm wrong.
I disagree because he came out during the press conference and basically said, like,
Did say
there's
there's going to be.
way too much fucked up shit on this team that needs to change, and we need to change it. And I'm hoping that means big changes, like, you know, maybe
Yeah, but
it
then
will
to Tim's
be
point,
4
we
or
don't
5.
want 8 new guys. You know what I mean? Then you start with a whole new team again, and that might not
Then you're the
work either.
Nashville
But
Predators,
also,
right?
Yeah.
that just may mean letting Tatar walk and Bastion walk and Lazar walk. And he's like, look, it's a different team. And
Yeah,
it's like, you didn't
that's
fucking
true.
do anything. And also, remember, these are all the same people that, like, he was the most active at the deadline.
Yeah.
Look how that worked out. So,
Yeah,
you know, I just feel like we're going to get I don't know. Like, I may be doomering this a little bit, but I just,
humoring
I
it.
really have no confidence in this guy to kind of right the ship. But I think he at least knows and has identified what the problems are. I just don't want him to lean into the size for size's sake thing. Like I would love big skilled guys, but I think skill and talent top size as long as they play with the right kind of attitude. Like Marchand's 5'9", you know, like I would take Marchand 10. I would take 10 Marchands over 10 Nate Bastions any fucking day. Bastion's 6'4". It's just, you know, we need guys with skill and with balls, and we need to bolster that a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's play some games.
Mhm.
What do you guys want to
Yeah,
play
and
first?
just to address Husky's point, it's like, yeah, but you know, Mercer's been available, plays in all situations, been thrown up and down the lineup, so it is kind of hard. And he's a homegrown drafted prospect. He still hasn't gotten his teeth fixed. There's a picture of him at the UFC event smiling with no missing teeth, or with missing
Again,
teeth. So it's
Mercer-
like,
Mercer can be fine in the right context of this team, depending on what else is done. It's not like he
Yes.
has to go for this team
Yes.
to get better. That's not what we're saying. But if you keep him in his role now, you can question his usage in those roles because nobody wants him as a 3C, yet he arguably played better as a center at the end of the year. So
Right.
what gives? Which way you going
And-
with him?
I can live with him as 3C if you, like you said, put the right pieces around him, you know? And so this is where, yeah, I mean, it's going to be, this is by far the biggest, if next season goes in the tank again, I can't see how Fitz saving his fucking
no, he
job.
doesn't. He can't.
Yeah.
He
General
just
manager Martin Brodeur.
can't. Oh God. I
The
think-
only problem I have with that is I
signed those
love
damn
Marty
jerseys.
and he's a
Right.
fucking legend. And I don't want to ever be like, I fucking hate Brodeur that he did
Right.
this. And I don't ever want to be like Detroit is with Steve Yzerman right now, you know?
Or once he eventually gets fired, like all GMs, and it's like now he's done with the organization.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then he goes, takes the GM job in St. Louis, and they win the cup.
3 days.
There you go.
Yeah. What game you guys want to play first?
Say devil, you know. Let's get it over
Yeah,
with.
let's do the hockey stuff first.
All right. Devil, you know.
Shall we play a game?
The
Buckle up, boys and girls. It is time for the Devil You Know on the Uncle Pucker New Jersey Devil Podcast.
Yeah.
I just snotted a little bit laughing at the part.
Not on the microphone?
No, just like it's like a snot bubble. Just makes
I
me
love
giggle.
it.
I'm fucking such a child.
All right, we are about to play The Devil You Know, which is the most fan-friendly, fun game in New Jersey Devil podcast history. Today it will be Tony Zamboni giving us clues to a former New Jersey Devil player. Myself, Tim, and Bobby get to answer, and we can pick, ask Tony any question we want. He can or cannot answer. We get 3 incorrect answers before we are eliminated, and that's it. Tony, it's all you, buddy.
And I don't really answer the questions because then it throws off my order, messes me up on the whole rest of the sheet.
Oh, well,
Way to make it
we're
dynamic.
still going to ask.
This former
That's it.
devil was born in Ontario.
That narrows it down.
There you go. This former devil shoots right.
No guesses yet? You got nobody got it?
Everybody gets it on this one. This former devil was, or is probably still 6 foot, 185 pounds when he was playing.
Lanky.
This former devil played for 6 NHL teams.
Okay.
This former devil spent 18 years in the NHL.
Mm.
This former devil spent 2 years in New Jersey.
2 years.
This former devil spent 3 years with San Jose, 96 through 97, 97 through 98, and 98 through 99. And this former devil was a center. This former devil scored a total of 475 goals and 734 assists in his NHL career.
What was that?
475 goals and 734 assists. This former devil scored 21 goals and 36 assists during his time in New Jersey.
Okay.
We don't know the years yet in New Jersey, right?
6 foot even and 185.
Yeah.
6'4". Oh, it was 6 even?
60.
Oh, 6
Oh,
even.
oh 6'4".
475 goals this guy scored?
Yes. Is that what
I have a
said?
guess,
And
but
it-
I don't think the dude played 18 years in the league.
What's your guess, Chris?
Jeff
got 3
Friesen.
No.
Yeah, I
Jeff
didn't think
Friesen was a
so.
lefty.
Well,
This former devil, let me see here, played with the Devils 92, 93, and 93, 94.
Oh.
hmm.
This former devil played 2 years with the Edmonton Oilers 91, 92, 92, 93.
So this guy missed out on the Oilers 1990 Cup. Went to the
Devils.
Oilers after that. Then came to the Devils, missed out on our cup and left and went to San Jose.
Right.
This former devil was drafted in 1980. This former devil played 1,127 games in the NHL.
How many? 1,000.
1,127. This former devil was drafted by the Los Angeles Kings, 4th round.
I've got nothing.
This former devil played 9 years with the Kings.
Was he a center or a wing?
Center.
He was a center.
Yeah.
A righty center, 6 feet, 475 goals from Ontario.
This former
At
devil
21
had
goals.
3 All-Star appearances, 84, 89, and 90.
Jeez. This is just a
Did this?
touch before my time.
This former devil had 5 game-winning goals in 94, 95.
Stefan Mattel.
No.
That's 2 of my guesses. Mattel played for the Devils, right?
No.
He didn't have a season with us?
No,
I thought he did. Thinking
This
of
former
somebody else
Devil
then.
was traded by Edmonton to the Devils for Janedo Chara. I mean, it was actually Kevin Todd and Zanedo Seeger in '93. So Seeger and Todd is who he was traded for in '93.
So he was a center. Did this player ever score 60 goals in a season?
I don't believe so. I don't know actually, but I don't believe so. This former Devil. let me see
This
here.
player's initials BN?
Obviously, go ahead. Make a
Bernie
guess.
Nichols?
There you go. Bernie.
Yes.
Bernie Nichols.
He did score 60 goals.
He also had. I did not even know he had like what was it, 16 hat tricks or some shit like that, or 19 hat tricks through his career. Which I had no
That
idea.
many, huh?
Yeah, one with the Devils, one of his seasons, but all the rest.
I can't believe I didn't pick up on the Kings to the Oilers to the Devils.
That's why I was going back and forth
Never
with
won
the
a
Edmonton
cup.
one.
I didn't think he was a
Retired in
center.
'99.
I haven't been that blank on one of those in a long time, man. I had absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I had no
Bernie
idea
Nichols
some-
was a center.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was
I
a
remember.
wing
I
for
was
some reason.
bummed. You remember
Anyway.
that '94 season when we got knocked out by the Rangers, man? I really liked Nichols. I was bummed he wasn't with the team the next year. Actually,
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I was always a fan.
He was
Absolutely.
one of the worst skaters I've ever seen.
And-
but was
and
just
Chris, what you're
such a
thinking
good
about
goal
with-
scorer.
You're thinking about Matteau. You're thinking about the one we drafted, right? His son.
Maybe.
Yeah, his son who retired, went to Montreal eventually. That's who we
Oh.
had his kid.
You know who I was thinking of? I got mixed up. The Ranger of that time too, Matteau. I was thinking of Esa Tikkanen.
That's
That's where I got mixed up because he played with us too, right? And so did his brother, didn't he? Didn't both Tikkanens play with New Jersey at some point? I don't know. All right, let's do our snake draft.
Also,
This is
Matteau's kid was another wasted first round draft pick.
Yeah, he
Yep.
just retired too, like officially. Like I think
Yeah.
last year actually, he was not playing, I believe, but.
All right, so let's do our random number generator. Tony, do you want to explain what this week's snake draft of the week is?
Best 80s sitcoms can have started in the 70s, but has to at least spent 3 years in the 80s. It's pretty much an 80s sitcom, but some of them go back to like 70s.
Okay, so 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
And they
Okay.
could go into the 90s too, also.
Right.
Yeah, they go with
As
the
long as you
90s,
got 3 years in the decade,
Yeah.
right?
All right, Tony, what's your number 1 through 20?
13.
Bob,
17.
Timmy.
10.
I always think that too.
I know, it's hard not to.
I'm gonna go with 3.
Never heard that before.
Really? You got to watch more TV.
There's a show called South Park. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah, weird.
17
17.
on the
Oh,
nose.
yeah.
So
Bob
Bob
is
is
on the
number
nose.
1. So we go Bob, Tony, Tim, me.
I hate going first because there's 2 that I like so much, and I was hoping one of them would get knocked off so I wouldn't have to make this decision. But that's not the case. So I can't start anywhere without just kind of classic, awesome action for a young kid. And I'm doing this in the lens of being a young kid too. I'm not looking back now. Like, this is what I did younger. I'm going to go with the A-Team.
Sitcom?
Didn't
Why?
Tony write in there that you
Yeah,
can't?
it
do
was
the-
kind of like so.
Fall
I mean,
Guy?
we could let it slide. It
Okay,
was,
well,
it was
I
supposed
got
to be
another one. If not, go
no
ahead.
A
explain.
teams, no Fall Guys, because they were more like action. I felt like I always think of like comedies, like when I think of the
Fair enough.
Well,
Like
that's what
half
sitcom,
hour,
sitcom is.
30 minutes,
Situa-
30-minute sitcom.
sitcom is
yeah.
situational comedy.
Correct. Missed that big old point there. Okay, then Married with Children it is.
That's a hard. I know,
Married
Bobby.
with
That's
Children.
how could you not? That's gonna
That's
win
a
you
good
for you
one.
right there.
That's
That's
a good
like,
one.
yeah, you might
That's on
win
my
right there
list.
with that pick. Who's next?
All right, Tony. All right. Do I even have to
Okay,
ask?
so- So this was. I don't think anybody would take this, but I have to go with it, of course. Let me kick it in here. Let me see here. One of the greatest sitcoms ever. One of the greatest
Tony and
sitcoms
his
ever. Chris
Fucking
knows.
weird John Ritter
Ever since
fetish.
Chris has known me since I was a young kid, I went to, I started cooking when I was a kid because of John Ritter. He's the only celebrity that when I think
Speech, bro.
about him being dead, it really bums me out, man. Like I love that show. 172 episodes, I don't know how you don't love that show there. And the best episode called The Rocket, when he's all wasted at the dance party and he's fucking dancing on the tables and stuff, man. He was the first
remember
to
that.
me. He was such an influence to guys like Kramer because he's that physical fall down comedian he was.
Yeah.
Just a great guy. I love the show. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. My wife can't stand it. And I'm always like, I don't understand how everyone's favorite show is not Three's Company. And Chris knows this is true because I've been preaching this since I was like a little kid, man. Love
I
it.
was like, so your three are what? Three's Company, Jack's Bistro, and the Ropers. Like all
This was a
the spin-offs?
disappointment, man.
That's the whole Three's Company universe.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Who's your
All right,
favorite
Tim, you're-
landlord, Tony?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Who do you
So-
like?
And who's your favorite blonde? This is important.
I like Mr. Furley, and I tell you what, there's a known rumor about Don Knotts. He was like hung like a baboon, they would say back in Hollywood back in the day. Yeah, that was a big Don
Our
Knotts.
baboons.
That was almost our snake draft for the day.
Yes, it's a snake
Largest
draft. Yeah,
cock
it's
of
high.
Hollywood.
Yeah, it's
I have,
higher than Knotts.
I have a Animal Kingdom question here as a follow up. Are baboons notoriously well hung? Is that like a
Did it sound good? I don't know. It sounded like it made sense.
hung like a baboon?
Hung like a baboon.
I don't
Does
know.
Dick
I don't.
look
I
like a
don't think
baboon,
so.
or
Donkey. I guess hung like a donkey would be the more
Yeah, donkey.
flattering term.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I liked, you know, dude, the show was great. The girls were, I mean,
Rank
I don't
the
know.
third roommate. Come on. The blondes. Put them in order.
What, Chrissy? Chrissy was my favorite. Okay, so funny wise, Chrissy. And if you notice that at the beginning of that show, her character changed kind of just like Kramer changed on Seinfeld. They like kind of developed the character.
Yeah.
But I like Chrissy and Terry, in my opinion. Those two, Priscilla Barnes, who was in Devil's Rejects and actually still acts and stuff. You know, it's crazy to think of all the people that are gone on that show, though. You know, I mean,
All right, we have
Richard
a snake
Klein's-
draft to do, Tony. We
Larry,
have to sit
great
here and
show.
talk about-
Tony, why don't you
fucking
write a
talk
blog?
about Three's Company.
Write your essay in a blog.
I got
Are you
the
getting
book,
paid
man.
for this, Tony?
Chris knew I was doing this. It was Three's
All right,
Company.
Tim,
That's
your
why he
pick.
very specifically said it can start in the 70s and go into the 80s.
I had to go to 78, man. I had to get going back.
I
All
get
right,
it.
well, I couldn't
77.
believe that Cheers fell to third overall.
That's a hard one. Huh?
Oh, it's a great show, and
Yeah.
on my top 3 list. And I'm actually glad that my first pick is still on because it
I
might be
know
my
it is.
all-time favorite show. MASH. For me, MASH. Absolutely
MASH,
love
dude.
MASH. And I get to
Forget
pick
about
again.
When was the finale of MASH?
81,
80s?
82 maybe.
I don't
Because-
know. I can look.
I don't
When
think
was the
that's
fun?
an
When was
80s
the last show
sitcom.
of MASH?
Oh, it was definitely an 80s sitcom.
I think it was a 70s sitcom.
So
No.
reruns.
19 well 72 and it went on
83
for
right?
11
Final
seasons.
episode 83.
Did that will you count that as an 80s? I
got
thought that
3
was
years.
more 80s, but Tim's kind of right.
But you got 3 years in there.
You got 3
Okay.
years.
Okay, I got my
You got 3
you're
years.
right.
You got 3
Okay.
years.
It went to
Okay.
83, so you can cover it. Covers you.
Barely.
Actually, my next show I better check too because now that I think about it, hang on.
Leave It to Beaver?
What? 71 to 9 seasons. This one doesn't count. Son of a bitch! I should have checked this. My
I
second
want to
pick
welcome
was,
back Cotter, and I couldn't take it, man. You know,
All in the Family. Can't take All in the
it's great,
Family.
dude.
Ah, all right, all right.
Scrambling. He's scrambling.
So who's
My
next now?
second, my
Chris
second
second.
pick. It started in the 80s and it is still going today, so that counts. I'm gonna go with The Simpsons.
The Simpsons.
it's a
great there you go.
Tim,
That's a good one, dude.
All right. This may be a little bit off the grid, but it was.
Alf.
I fucking love this show. No, speaking of
what was
aliens,
that?
I loved this show. Loved it. It is such a preposterous scenario. And I always loved that the person that played the oldest character was actually the youngest person on it. So
Oh
that's
no!
great. Golden Girls.
Gold-
Oh no!
Girls.
Oh no!
Oh,
Thank you for
It
being.
was
a
not on
friend.
my list, dude.
Thank you for
right over that
being
one
a
every time.
friend.
I don't
Next pick, you
understand this,
watch.
Tim.
That show was
No.
so fucking funny. You can fuck yourself if you don't like. the
What's your
Golden
no?
Girls.
What's your real pick?
Golden Girls?
No, not funny.
I have a
Golden
tank
Girls.
top.
Golden
That's
Girls,
Golden Girls
are
tank
hilarious. You should see You should see another pick that I have for a later round, just in case too.
I'm
Golden
kind
Girls.
of okay with the Golden
Tim,
Girls.
have you ever been sexually attracted to one of the Golden Girls? Because that would be the real problem. Or
Absolutely.
Okay.
Blanche.
My wife.
She was
just
such a
told-
whore.
My wife just told me
Blanche.
that the one who played like the mom of the older
Yes,
one was
Estelle
actually a
Getty.
few years younger.
Yes,
than the
that's
first-
yeah.
That's
That's
crazy.
what he said.
Yeah.
He said
I
where the
wasn't paying
oldest one was
attention.
actually the youngest.
Yeah,
That
I
was
not
that was
definitely
my
not listening
like
to you guys.
preamble clue of like what I'm gonna
All right,
pick.
Golden Girls. That's a good one. Tony, your
I'm
second
gonna
pick.
tell you guys.
I'm
out
good-
of the
hey,
water,
okay.
everybody's gonna say I love the Golden Girls, and I will be vindicated.
Yeah, you might be.
Yeah, all
I
right,
feel
first
lucky
of
that this one's still
all-
around.
and also, sorry, just
Oh, good.
the Led Zeppelin guy is not allowed to make fun of my pick.
Kind of
Fair enough.
Kind of true there. All right. All right, Tone,
was-
your second.
And what was the Muppet Show? It was fucking great too.
Most crap.
I love-
not a sitcom though.
I love this show, and I think I didn't watch it till after it was out. Actually, I was one of those late guys on it, and I still watch, and I could watch it all the time. And I think it's one of those good picks that'll probably get some votes. Seinfeld. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Is that
I didn't even know that
80s?
started in the 80s.
That was 80s.
That's
yeah,
90s.
it started in the '80s, went over to the '90s.
All right.
I did this whole
Bob.
thing wrong. I'm really hoping this one is considered situational comedy because I sure as hell think it is, especially looking back at it now. But does Greatest American Hero count? Or is that also in that action vein?
You know, the Greatest American Heroes could kind of be in that sitcom kind of thing because it.
Give it to Bobby so we know he loses.
I'll give you.
Yeah, Bobby,
I'll
you
give
can
it
have
to
that.
you. I'll give it to you. Greatest American Hero. We'll let the Instagram and Twitter folks fight over whether or not should be in there.
Yeah, they give me a lot of shit every week.
All right, Bob, you got one more pick.
One more pick. I mean, I'll just go with my next order. Now I'm questioning this one too because I'm like, was it really comedy? But yeah, Different Strokes.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
a sitcom.
Yeah.
Terrible one, but that's a sitcom.
I don't know.
loved it when I was a kid,
grew up
though. I
watching
loved
that
it.
so much,
love
man. But
Different
between
Strokes.
that
Great
and like
show.
Family Ties, you know, it is what
But
it is.
Bobby,
Dude,
that
dude,
episode with
Dude, I'm doing,
Dudley.
Bob, I'm being supportive of your picks. This is a great
It's a
show.
very,
Yeah,
very
good job.
special episode.
I am
Yeah, that
very
special episode
supportive
that they
of
made
you,
us all
Tim.
watch. That was like
It made me never want to go to a bike store.
Show
Except for
your
the
wife
Golden
this.
that was
Girls.
the guy from
I'm trying to-
WKRP
Yeah. Yeah.
taking the pictures.
It's raining turkeys.
All right, Tony, your last pick.
So you guys, I considered this a sitcom because it was like half an hour. It was on the Wonder Years. I thought was killer.
That's a good one. That was on my list.
That the Wonder Years.
Same with me.
Winnie
All right,
Cooper. I
Timmy,
mean, come
your
on.
last pick.
All right, another show that I loved. Very weird, but it was so fucking funny. Night Court.
Yeah, that was
That
on my
was-
list too, possibly.
I love Night Court. That was a really funny
It's
show.
such a funny show.
Tim, I
All right.
support you and your Night Court 100%. You are the best.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate
I
it.
had Night Court, and I was hoping that I was actually tossing around between Night Court or the one or this other one, and you ended made my decision for me. I didn't so much love this show. I didn't think this show was great, but when you are 10, 11, whatever at that age in the mid 80s, and this was my first crush that I could remember, and it's Who's the
throwback.
Boss.
Yep.
My first crush
good
was Little Jonathan. I mean, Alyssa Milano.
That's how my daughter got her name, is from that show.
Little Jonathan.
Jonathan?
Yeah, Samantha.
weird.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah, Samantha.
Yep, that's how.
The,
she
the
got that
reruns had just made it over there and you found the name.
name. Exactly. This is a great
It's a new
idea.
show.
No,
Have you
but
guys seen
Chris
this
is
new
right.
show
I mean, how
with
do you not
Tony
love-
Danza? All right, that's a good
Yeah.
snake draft. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't like my last one. I shouldn't have done that.
You can change it. We'll
It's
give you
not
one
Little House
last
on the
time.
Prairie.
Do a quick change.
No, it would be Silver Spoons.
Do you want to change your Different Strokes to Silver Spoons?
You can't change things
I'm
after
not allowed
that.
I
to
have
change.
to. I
He is
can't.
All
not
right,
allowed
Bob,
to
you're
change.
fucked. Sorry, I would have allowed it, but Tim said no.
Mama's
Nothing I can
Family
do
too
about
was
it
another
Anymore.
good one.
Tim's very mad at me for not liking.
No, I'm not. It's just I can't believe I got that
It's
reaction to
broken.
Golden Girls. And I know I'm frozen right now, but
You didn't get it from me. I'm with you. On my list,
well, like
this is
yeah,
This
Go
is
ahead.
what I had. I have MASH, All in the Family, Married with Children, Golden Girls, The Simpsons, Cheers, Night Court, Who's the Boss, and Coach. Those were my
Oh,
list.
Coach is a
I had
great-
Mama's
Coach was a
Family
good-
on mine too.
I hated Mama's Family.
I had
I just
Newhart, Mr. Belvedere, Perfect
Newhart.
Strangers.
Good one.
And
Perfect
the
Strangers.
other random weird show that I enjoyed was Designing Women.
Wow.
I said
Nice, dude.
that he watched
That
that
is-
Murphy Brown back to back.
Murphy Brown. Yep. That was
Designing Women was so bad.
it was
So
really-
bad.
Trying to,
It really was. I
I'm
know.
trying to sneak A Team
I-
and Knight
Small
Rider into
Wonder.
this conversation.
I know.
Now you have to do like 80s action shows, like hour long, like action. That would be the Fall Guy, the A Team, the
Yeah.
I
Night
need
Riders.
to
And
slow down and read the group texts a little more.
yeah,
for
I
Bob,
think
Bob
the
you need to
problem with
start
that,
paying
Chris,
more
though, it's
attention to
limited.
us.
I think those are limited though. Those action
Yeah,
ones. I
they're
really
not-
think about it.
there's
There's
not
like
too
only a handful of really good ones. You know.
Yeah, I
You
don't
can
know.
cross-
you can
cross decades for
expand
that.
You can say 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
For that.
Dude,
for that.
70s.
Hang on, I'm gonna
Well,
refresh.
Last night
70s
I
would
had my
be-
watch. So
Yeah, I
my
could
wife's
pick up a
never.
pair of
We were
Daisy
watching
Dukes.
Blazing Saddles. She never saw it. My
Nice.
wife did not understand what she was watching. She said, "What is going on here?" She's like, I had to explain.
Why
to
are they
her
so
because-
mean to the black guy?
Yeah, she's like, I cannot believe they're saying these things. I'm like, no,
It's
this
the
is
most
written like
racist
this.
fucking movie ever.
She was shocked, dude. She was just like the whole like, yeah, and I didn't tell her the first like half an hour. Like, and she was like looking at me like I was trying to be serious. I was like, yes,
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah, I
She
feel like
just-
you're
it blew
kind
her
of like
mind,
bringing
dude.
her. You're kind of like bringing her through like mini torture sessions with your TV watching
Oh, she
lately,
hates
dude.
it.
All
I
these
take her to these
stories, she
concerts.
doesn't like it.
I'm taking her to see this band Anal Vomit on like 3 weeks, and she's not happy about it. She is not happy one bit.
I wonder why.
I know the guys now; they've
You
been
can
on my
say
show.
no.
So
Yeah.
Oh, this is great. But unfortunately, we have to wrap this thing up because I have to go and make some dinner for my family. So I'm sure everybody else has shit to do. And there's a game on in a couple hours.
yes, was it
So-
2 more hours? Is it 8
Yeah,
o'clock? Right?
8 o'clock. You're not going to stay awake for this, are you, Tom?
No, I'll just record and watch. I can't do it, man. If it's not the
There you
Devils,
go.
I gotta sleep.
Anything else that you boys would like to discuss, bring up before we wrap it up?
No, it's kind of hard to find
about
stuff to talk about Devils related through this. So appreciate anybody who hung around. Husky, thank you.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. It's always awesome hanging out with you all. And remember to hit the subscription button, the alert bell, like, all the fun shit wherever you're listening to us or watching us. And we'll be back later on this week with some more good shit. For Tony, Tim, Bobby, I'm Chris. We are the Uncle Puckers, and we'll see you when we see you. Thanks,
Hey,
boys.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck you,
Peace.
Belicat.
That's all we got. I got to find my
Yes,
outro.
man.
Hang
I
on.
didn't really get that out there very well.
Yeah, give
See
him more
you,
shit.
man.
Suck a dick, Velicat, you fucking
Hey.
smug little pussy.
I like it.
Wow.
There you go.
Going for that
And we're
PG
out.
rating.
You too, Bob. Go watch.
It's over, Johnny. It's over!